Now it's Sheriff Kevin Sproul. You guys know this guy. He's on here all the time, and today he's got all kinds of topics that he talks about. And today's topic he's going to talk about is there's an upcoming movie that Sherwood Productions is putting on, right? It's called Courageous, and
Correct.
It actually features the Sheriff's Office.
The Dougherty County Sheriff's Office.
All right,
Yes,
talk to me
does.
about this. What's the message of the movie?
Well, the movie's going to be released on September the 30th, 2 weeks from this Friday. And the message behind the movie is for young men to step up and be the fathers of their homes.
Okay.
And when Sherwood Pictures approached me about this movie a couple years ago, it was very emotional to me because over the years I've opened up my home and had young boys and girls live in my homes that didn't have parents or, or was missing a certain part of the puzzle, so to speak. And I know the impacts that fathers have on young boys as being a coach, Sunday school teacher, youth worker, you know, in the sheriff's office. I've worked with so many individuals over the years that in most cases it came back to the lack of a mother or the lack of a father. They didn't have a big brother in their family. And these are things that gangs, that attract kids to gangs so much, is that brotherhood that a gang brings, that leadership. That leader in that gang tends to be the father figure of the gang.
Even though it's an awful father.
It's a negative side,
it's
right.
a father.
It is a father, and it's a missing piece in that young man's life in most cases.
So, okay, tell me first of all, Sherwood Productions, is that a local production house?
Yes, it's Sherwood Pictures is out of the Sherwood Baptist Church here in Albany.
Okay, and they're actually putting on the movie. This is their creation.
This is their movie, right. This is their fourth movie that they've had.
I know you guys are in the movie, but what other involvement do you guys have with it?
Well, we worked behind the scenes and consulted and gave them guidance on, you know, certain parts of the movie, but they were right in line pretty much with the whole movie from the get-go. They're very creative, and they wanted to show the audience that there are 5 different men playing in the movie, and you kind of fit the mold of one of those individuals. You can see yourself in the movie. As I watched the movie, I could see myself through all the different stages that the men were playing in the movie. And without getting into a lot of the movie, you know, through the tragedy that goes on in the movie and the importance of being a godly father in the home, basically is the message throughout.
So you basically kind of go on a trip. It tells a story of what could happen, what does happen, you know, and things like that when there is no father in the home, and the good things that probably happen when there is a father in the home.
And I don't want some young boys to go see this movie and feel like there's no hope for them, because if they don't have a father, they don't have an uncle, they don't have a grandfather, they don't have a man figure in their life, the Dougherty County Sheriff's Office, we have a mentoring and a tutoring program.
Tell me about that.
Lieutenant Taryn Hayes heads up that program. He's with the Crime Prevention Intervention Unit, and he works with so many young children in our community from 6 years on up to teenage. And even from outlying areas that aren't in Dougherty County, we'll get calls from other counties that they don't have programs such as this, and they'll call us and ask Lieutenant Hayes if he can, you know, maybe mentor them too.
Wow, so you guys not only mentor local teens, you'll mentor outside of the community if it's needed.
Well, you know, anytime we can prevent another individual from coming to jail, everybody wins.
Yes,
absolutely. It saves you as a taxpayer. It saves the, you know, the overcrowding situation in the jail. If we can turn a young life around at 6, 8, 10, 12 years old, and keep them off that so-called beaten path of going to jail and getting in that vicious cycle of getting in and out, being on probation, being on parole, paying fines. Their basic freedoms are stripped when that happens, and we try to let young kids know that this is not the route you want to go.
Absolutely not. And it's so, like he said, it is a vicious cycle. Once you're in it, it's so hard to get out of it. It affects everything, your employment, your relationships with your friends and families, and potential, you know, romantic relationships. Everything gets affected by what goes on.
And I mentioned boys a lot, but girls are also impacted by not having fathers in their homes or mothers of that, in that case.
I'm a daddy's girl, and I'm very grateful for it. I'm very close to my dad, been close to him all my life. I would not be who I am, most assuredly, if I did not have my father, because I see what the alternative is in my female friends who don't have their dads.
That's right.
Completely different.
And you know, I'm not up here just beating down single parents by any means. I've got several friends who have been raised by a mother or a father, and they've been very successful. But when you look at study after study that's been released over the years, it shows the impact of not having both parents there in the family and the void that it leaves with kids, you know, have that real
Absolutely.
immature status when they're growing up.
And you just never know which way they're going to go.
don't.
Some children thrive in a single-parent home, where some children feel that void, like you said.
And they act out in negative ways.
Yes, and it totally swings them in a different direction.
Correct.
So definitely, this is going to be a wonderful production. Tell me when it is again.
September the 30th, Friday, 2 weeks from this Friday. It's going to air in several theaters across the country.
Okay.
And I would urge people here in Albany and Dougherty County to go see it.
Definitely support it. It's the Sheriff's Department. They have some active involvement in it. You definitely want to see it. It is a Sherwood Pictures production, and it is called Courageous. And like he says, it opens September 30th?
Correct.
And in theaters all across the country. You guys got to definitely check it out. Go online, Google it. If you can't, you know, remember the date, Google it. I'm sure it's on there. Sherwood Pictures production, Courageous. All right. Thank you so much. Sheriff Kevin Sproul, the Dougherty County Sheriff's Department.